G'day everyone, I hope you're well. Alright, I've just got this in recently. It's Great Wall Hobbies 1/72nd scale A-10C Thunderbolt 2. As you probably are all aware, they've done this in 1/48 previously. I didn't get that kit because I have the newer tooled Hobby Boss one came out and I got that. So I thought I'd have a look at the 1/72nd scale one. They're not cheap, especially the 1/48 one is around 150, I think, Australian dollars, which seems to be the trend lately of kits. They're going up a lot. So we've got several, or more than several, I think. There's 4 there and a couple more there. But of course it's 50 Shades of Grey. Let's have a looky to see. From what, as I said, I don't have the 1/48 one, but from what I can tell from looking at pictures of sprues, this is just it looks same design, so I think they've just shrunk down the 1/48 version, which is not a problem, I don't think. That will be a clear parts. Oh, let me grab all this out. Sit that up there. Alright, so we'll have a look at them in a bit. Alright, so I know what I'm in for here. Their instructions are rather odd. Alright. Now you're going to be all over the place. But anyway, there's your sprues. So you've got single length fuselage halves. You got a whole fuselage bottom and the bottom wings in one piece, and then you got the whole upper wing in one piece, which in theory should be a good thing. You get a nose weight, a bit of photo etch, and many weapons. Alright, now we are going to be all over the place here. Oh no, my bad, they have done a book. I had some of the earlier ones and it just falls apart and you're trying to work out what's what. So it's starting in with your ejection seat and the cockpit tub. Paint callouts by the looks of that. I didn't look at the. Should we go back? Where were they? I didn't even see them at the back. Paint. It's missed the colour anyway. The lacquer version, not the aqueous acrylic. So hence the C. But easy enough to translate across, because your camouflage colours have FS federal standard numbers, so if you're using a different brand of paint you have no troubles. Alright, so by the looks of it we have decals for the instrument panels, nose gear well going in. Alright, so they've highlighted, you got red lines here. That's just, by the looks of it, the point of contact. So you got the gear bay sitting in against that, and your pins, from what I can gather from that meaning. Right, you got the plate going on the nose, instrument panel combing, heads up. Decals there for that instrument panel. So you have a whole piece for the spine, which should be good, which means there's no cleaning up a seam joint all the way along the spine. That is very good news. Cannon, so it's just the end of it, it's not an internal full cannon going on inside, it's just the end, but you don't see it anyway. At this stage they would have you put the windscreen on, which is also part of the fuselage, which is good because it just makes things easier when you're working with clear parts if they've got a larger area around them that's not clear. There's a photo etch going on a piece behind the cockpit that plugs on top of the spine. Alright, onto the wings. So you got the gear bay, internals going in, and then top section going on. So there's no, so the holes must be already in the wing, so you don't have to drill them out going by this. We'll have a look when we get there. Right, wingtip sections going on, more photo etch. The bits going on the end of the gear bay pods, fairings, engines. Internal is 2 halves, and the nozzle at the rear looks like single piece, and 2 halves for the outer part of the engine, so there'll be some clean up there. Hopefully they fit well and you can paint them separately and then glue them on later. It would make things easier. Right, nose gear going together. That's some decals for that. At this stage you need to put in the weight that they've supplied you into the wing section, and the fuselage comes on onto the main gear. Single piece tyres by the looks of it, and a hub. So all the way along is decal call out, so be mindful of that. Gear going in, a couple of stabiliser fairings that go on the underside of the fuselage, and your nose gear going in, gear door. Still on the nose gear, so there's actuators for the door going in there as well. On the main gear at the back, and you got one for the front there, nose gear. And if you're doing in flight, it looks like we have an option for that. You got the gear door that would be for closed. Put the wheel on and it just plugs on by the looks of it. So it looks like you can do an in-flight display. Control surfaces going in. Now you got the speed brakes open on this page, but will we have an option for? Yes, we do. So you can have deployed speed brakes or just neutral, closed up. Alright, so tail cone going on, and you're moving to the rear end for the stabilizers. Some more photo etch, so your slime lights are photo etch. Some more going on there, or antenna. More photo etch for slime light. Main canopy has a internal piece to go in, a bit plugging on the back, so this should have options for open and closed. Alright, you got the boarding ladder going on here, some more photo etch, and you've got there's 3 schemes here: painting scheme A, So you got decals that go on the boarding ladder or access door there, squadron markings or unit. And then the other option here, that's shut, no boarding ladder, and it should be canopy closed that way, and all your pylons going in. So by the looks of it, you need to use your pylons, otherwise you will be filling in holes. I think that's decals, a different numbering to what was going on earlier. But all the decals, I think, for the pylons, and being the A-10, there are heaps. And then you're on to all your ordnance. Alright, so what have we got here? The AAQ 28 pod, AIM-9Ls, the ALQ 131 ECM pod, SU-25 missile, that's rocket pod, is it? Another pod, AAQ 33. The Mavericks, another ECM pod, the Q184, G.W.H 39 bomb, BUR 61 pylon, G.W.H 12, G.W.H 31, another rocket launcher, the LAU 68, LAU 131, G.W.H 38, drop tanks, G.W.H 39, twin pylons, the good decal call out and the paint call outs for the weapons we just covered. At least it's nice and clear. They've just got a box for that one particular item and nice and clear instructions. And thankfully, for someone like me who wouldn't have a clue how it's armed up, that's if they're correct, of course, they show you, give you options for where particular ordnance, which pylon it can go on. Of course, that's just, they've got a 1, a 2, 3, 4, 5, so they've got 5 options there, but of course there's probably more than that. And when I'm building things like this, I usually go on to Google and look, see what I can find, what images I can find of them. Stencil data, sides and top, all your walkways, another stencil data, and the underside. So not a heap of stencil data. Right, that was, let me grab that, back in there. Instructions. Alright, so we got nice big call outs here. Alright, that there. Am I getting glare? Alright, no particular order, this is just the one I grabbed on top. 81st Fighter Squadron, 52nd Fighter Wing, Spangdahlem Air Base, Germany, 2011. 163rd Fighter Squadron, 122nd Fighter Wing, Afghanistan, 2018. That's the Black Snakes. And that should be, oh no, it's a different one again. 303rd Fighter Squadron, 442nd Fighter Wing, Whiteman Air Force Base, 2024, so very recent. And 74th Fighter Squadron, Flying Tigers, 20. I'm just trying to check if I'm getting glare in this. I might take a photo of these so you can see them better. 23rd Wing, Langley Air Force Base, 2011. 25th Fighter Squadron, 51st Fighter Wing, Osen Air Base, PACAF, I've no idea what that is, United States Air Force, 2016. And 184th Fighter Squadron, 188th Fighter Wing, Fort Smith, National Guard one, so it's 2008. 354th Fighter Squadron, 355th Fighter Wing, Davis Monthan Air Force Base, USAF, 2020. So like I said, there's same paint but plenty of different markings to choose from. They always look meaner with those teeth on the nose. Alright, we've got stapled bags. This is the nose weight they supply you, so hopefully that is enough. It's nice and heavy. I don't know what that is. It's like polished steel or something. It's not aluminium, that's for sure. All those slime lights. Is that your angle of attack sensor? Right. So all the markings for the pylons there and ordnance that there. They're all squadron unit markings. They it's very matte, flat looking decals, and hopefully they conform alright, especially the ones for the nose. That one's especially pretty big, and the instrument panel markings. I'll take photos to get better close-ups. Camera's not working with that, but the instrument panels look good enough detail for 1/72 scale. Alright, so this will be clear parts. Alright. Unfortunately, it has a sensor seam through the main canopy, and I'm not sure if that's, I don't think it should be there. I don't know, some of them have like an antenna built into the center of the canopy, but that goes all the way along, so I think that might have to be removed. But it's well, it doesn't matter now because you got to sand it out and polish it, but otherwise they're very clear. That's a good idea though, that you don't have to just glue the frame of the canopy. You've got extra around it. Makes life easier. There's a photo of it. Alright, I'll start. Make some room. Come in. Alright. So I've got raised riveting along here. And there is raised. That's all recessed up there. Some detail, just you're not seeing much anyway, but they do have some detail on there. too close now, am I? Alright, so that's the spine piece. Again, it's got the raised details along there, riveting, and there's raised, and some of the other areas are raised, as well as on the stabilizers. That's all raised rivets. So it looks rather nice. So if they could keep that sort of detail on 1/72 scale, that's pretty good. So the 148 kit must be very good. Alright. That's all raised on the engines. Those pieces, that's recessed. Engine fan in there looks good. The intake. That's all recessed. And you've got the nice internals for the gear bay, nose gear bay, raised detail in the cockpit tub. So some of them are really high, so you might have to cut the decal in pieces to put it on. That's got raised rivets as well. Alright, all the rest is just going to be all your weapons. So it's going to be, it should be, what is there? Oh, there's a couple different ones here. The Maverick. Come in again. So nice, that's all nice details on them anyway. Simple enough, and it's, you don't have to glue 4 fins on, it's already molded. You just have to plug that on the end of the weapon. Big thumbs up for that. Look at here, engine, internal of the engine. So there'll be 2 of that. Alright. They are slightly raised on that exhaust. Right, we got so your seat there, the cannon tip, and the main gear bay. Sorry, so the internals of the gear bay, the cannon tip there, and the Jackson seat. Gear doors, no ejection pin marks in them, so that's good. So you got the one piece tyres. So instrument panel, coaming, some pylons, they are one piece as well. Hallelujah. The rear end, that's the other piece that goes on the spine behind the cockpit. Right, yeah. Side winders. The one of the pods. They're labelled anyway, so good for people like me who don't know what's what. Drop tank. Hang on, I'm sure the thing's falling apart up here, falling away. Yeah, so another pod, your launcher, just two the same, one different. I'll get photos like I normally do of it all, so you can pause it if you want to see it all better. Another pod, got the launching rails, we got G.W.H again, you just got to plug the end on, and it's all nice and crisp and sharp. Well, I guess it should be, it's a brand new tool, so it should all go together well. Rocket pod again. Yeah. Another ALQ, the 184 pod. They're all really nicely, all the recess, rivets, panel lines, very crisp. Very nice in the scale, 1/72 scale. GBU12, GBU31, and your pylons, again, they all molded as one, so that's fantastic. No cleaning up seam joins there. That is it, I think. I haven't missed anything. I don't think so. Right. So there you go. That looks still too far in. Really nice details. And if you don't want to fork out the money for the 148 version, this one isn't cheap either, but it's half the price of the big one. And looking at the details, it should build up to a very nice model. Alright, photos to follow. Thank you for watching.